Hi.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Does traditional tattoos last longer than this new era of tattoos?
Is there a way I can cover up this tattoo? Okay.
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 You're falling into a trendy trap. It is almost as trendy as the tribals. Question: fact or myth? Color fades faster than black and gray. Why do people do this? Why do you just like? Well, anyway, yeah. First, intro.
This is the Tat Chat with Electric Linda.
Hello, people. Welcome back to the Tat Chat. We have been having some problems with the audio the last episode, so I just wanted to check, like, straight away, is everything okay with the sound? Can you hear me? And is there a lot of these disturbing sounds, or is it okay? Just let me a thumbs up or let me know. Hello, it sounds good. Sounds great. Thank you for letting me know that. Awesome. Finally, we got the audio to be good. And I mean, the chat is so fast. You can't chat that fast, people. Okay, let me say hi. Hello, Mark, Daphne, Stacy, Reza, Krishna, Roma, Shawal, Tana, Mariana, Zoe, Ruth, Michael, Dash, D. Johnson, Billy Jackman, and on and on. Thank you so much for being here, people. It is so nice to see all of you here again. So, just not to like waste all of this time here, just me chit-chatting about important stuff. Today, in this episode of the Tat Chat, we are going to focus on tattoo aftercare. So I do have a little plan here, and that is I'm gonna let you ask questions a little bit later, you know. So we'll do some chapters, and in the end of the chapter, every chapter, you can ask me some questions if that's okay. Oh, thank you, Shay. That's so nice of you. I did spend like 5 minutes or 10 in front of the mirror today, so just for you guys. Okay, so I thought we'll do first a sort of my personal step-by-step guide to a tattoo aftercare in general, and then we'll do some do's and don'ts, and then we'll do some special placements talking about, for example, the hands, the feet, back pieces, stuff like that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the products, which products I like and I don't like, and then we're going to just do Q&As for the rest. But I'm going to open up for some questions, you know, during this as well. But you are more than welcome to chat with each other. I think that's so nice when you guys, you know, you're getting to know each other and chat if you want. So, yeah. I thought I'll just go ahead and show you what I wanted to show you here. Let's see here. I do this and I push some buttons and show screen. That should be just right. So this is my personal, I do have a blog, and so I try to sort of write down most of my information that I have for you into blog posts as well. So this is my blog, and here's my blog post on tattoo aftercare. So this is sort of my little Bible, And every time I want to change something, or I, try something new, or I want to, and I have clients that I have tattooed, if they lose their own aftercare instruction paper, that they got from the shop, they can just go in here and look it up. So my guide is sort of, I'm talking about, how important it is to actually take care of the tattoo. And as I say, because getting it tattooed is one thing, the aftercare is something completely different, but just as important as the tattooing, if not even more. If you don't take care of your tattoo, it can become pale and uneven, or even scarred or completely faded. In fact, and this is important, a tattoo is not permanent until it's completely healed. I'm not sponsored by Saniderm, but I did get an affiliate because I like them, and I'm going to talk more about them later. So just so you know, nothing is sponsored here. It's just my own recommendations. But yeah, as I say, it's like I can give you a great tattoo, but if you don't take care of it, it's like it loses that worth, and you can destroy a tattoo by not taking care of it. And so it's your own responsibility, and la la la. And basically, it's you have the skin, the healing process. It has like 3 stages. And it's the first stage where it's an open wound. It's totally open. It is so it can, get those, if you get bacteria, viruses, anything in contact with that open wound, it's not a good thing. So since it's such an open wound, the first stage, the first phase, it's a very individual period, but mostly it takes about a week, 3 to 7 days, but if you count 1 week, that's a good thing. And then the second stage, it's closing up, it's starting to become tight and itchy. It's easy that it gets dry, so that's important to keep moisturizing it and keeping it a little bit moisture from this, And then the third stage, it's actually just, it seems very healed. It is just like it's still setting below the skin. And then I talk a little bit about the jungle of recommendations, because I see that a lot. That I go to, there are so many like Facebook groups, for tattoo enthusiasts or tattooed people, tattooed girls, tattoo pages with people that just likes tattoos, and without having the knowledge, experience, and I've been tattooing for 20 years, so I've seen quite a lot of heel tattoos as well, and how I've experimented and seen what works, what don't work, so and I think when people just get some tattoos, they don't have enough experience to know exactly what they're talking about when it comes to tattoo aftercare. Of course, you can have, a couple of 2 or 3 tattoos, maybe even 10, maybe 20 tattoos, and you have used some tattoo aftercare products that you were just lucky with. You like it, you believe it, so then it sort of works for you. And a lot of products will work, very fine, but you can also get more unlucky with products like that. So I just say, please be careful and cautious, and don't listen to, your tattooed friends. You can, of course, ask, their advice and stuff, but that is not, the guide to follow. So please, I want to say this is very important. I am not talking for every tattoo artist in the world here. A lot of people are asking me like a lot of questions, and many of them I can't answer because I can only answer you guys from my own experience. And so, and I'm not a doctor. I do not have education in skin anatomy. I just have my knowledge from years of tattooing and my experience. So it's important for me to say to you guys, okay? But then you can either, I used to, for many years, I used to recommend this guide that I'm going through now, and it's a step-by-step traditional aftercare. It's what I call my traditional aftercare. I don't know if other tattoo artists call that. So, they could maybe call it something different. But this is what I call it. And it's all about having, when you get tattooed, you get home, the artist wraps you up in some plastic foil or bandage of a kind. And now I'm not talking about Saniderm or Tegaderm or any of those. Now I'm just talking about any wrappings that is sort of loose and not a derm wrapping. And when you get home with that, you need to take that off after a few hours, or at least before you go to bed, so that you can go to bed with a clean wrapping or film. So, and to have that clean, you need to clean it, and by washing your hands, using a soap. I'm going to talk about products later. Using a soap and thoroughly wash it with that soap, so that you can see that the pores are entirely free from any excessive ink, and then rinse well. I usually recommend rinsing with warm water, as warm as you think is comfortable. The warmer the better, because then you open up the pores. And actually, I know this from hairdresser school. So yeah, like when you wash your hair with warm water, you open up the pores. And that's the same with the skin. You open up the pores and then you clean it thoroughly, and then you can actually rinse it with a little chiller water, a little colder, not scalding cold, but cold enough that you feel like it's cold. And then you will actually sort of close the pores a little bit. And then I actually don't recommend drying it with anything. No towel, nothing like that, and no paper either. You can just sort of shake it a little bit, because that water that is still, if it's on your arm, which is easy to show you, that water is good to have, because it's clean water. It's you washed it, so it's, the water here is clean. You can use this when you are moisturizing it, because as I know myself, I'm a very sensitive person when it comes to being tattooed and all that. So I think being tattooed is very painful. And sometimes I think actually cleaning the tattoo and moisturizing it can be really painful too. And to avoid this, you actually just let the water stay there and moisturize with the water. So moisturizing, wash your hands, of course, but you don't have to wash it twice. But it's more like if you need to go back and moisturize some other time, always wash your hands first. Massage a very thin layer of the ointment, made especially for fresh tattoos, of course, until it begins to penetrate the skin. So that's what I suggest, like massaging it into the, you already have some drops of water on there. That's totally fine. So you can use that to sort of massage it in, so that it doesn't feel that, you know what I mean? Sometimes when you have moisturizer on a dry tattoo, that can feel really sensitive. It can feel almost like a burning sensation, So just to have that water, it really helps a little bit. And one thing is, remember that it's always better to lubricate too little but often than too much but rarely. So small amounts, but rather that, and more often if you need to, than to put a lot of it on, because that's a thing that a lot of people do by mistake. They just put too much moisturizer on, you know, and then that is what often makes pimples and rashes and often infections as well, because it gets too moist. So it's sort of bathing, and so it's easier to get infected that way. And then it's to cover up the tattoo again with a clean plastic foil, a wrap, a sort of a dressing in a way, a bandage. As I usually, those plastic foil, you know what I mean, that film that you put on sort of leftovers in the fridge. That's what I used to recommend all the time, and this is a good thing. But the most dangerous thing about this is that if you have this plastic wrap for too long, then the skin won't be able to breathe. Okay, so I suggest when you do it this way, the traditional way, you should remove the plastic as soon as you have, those hours where you're sitting and watching some television or watching a movie. You can have your tattoo sort of free and safe from the environment in a way. Then you can take off that plastic wrap, clean it, moisturize it, and let it just lay there and rest a little bit without the wrapping, as long as you're not needing to take your jacket on, or your dog is close to you, or want to be on your lap or something. So as long as you are sort of safe from any bacterias around you, then you can let it rest. And I'm still on day like 1 or 2 here. So, and after that, still night 1 and night 2, even night 3, if there's still coming plasma out of the open wound. So keep it sort of covered as long as you have plasma coming out, because this plasma, when this gets fresh air, it will become a crust, and the crust is what makes the tattoo fade and sort of break. Because if you lose some of this crust, because in phase 2, when it gets dry and you start not scabbing, but almost like peeling, like after a sunburn, you get a little peeling, the skin is renewing itself. And just lost my sentence. Yep. But yeah, in phase 2, when it's drying up and peeling, it's a good idea to keep it, oh my God, I just lost my sentence. I do that sometimes. It's so weird. So I think I just need to go on to the next thing. That's so weird. Okay. So, but the first few nights you keep it covered, and you let it rest in fresh air when you can. And then you repeat that, washing, moisturizing, massaging, re-wrapping for 1 to 3 days. It depends on how much plasma is coming out from the pores. Okay. But then that's when that first phase is sort of done, you can, that's just to sort of keep moisturizing it when you feel the need to, because it's going to dry up a little bit during that phase 2, when, like that sunburn peeling thing, when you have those flaking in a way. It's just to keep moisturizing it, but still small amounts, but more often. Okay, always go less. Always, it's better to add more if it wasn't enough than to have too much on your hand and smearing it in. And then I have my B version, which is because lately, you know, guys, I haven't been tattooing for about 2 years, but before I went out in my mother leave, I did try the Saniderm and the Tegaderm and one more from Tattoo Med, which is also the same thing. And I love them. I really love them. They are amazing. And I've been asked so many times, what do you think about Saniderm? What do you think about Saniderm? And it is sort of the way I used to do tattoo aftercare, but just better during that first phase. It's so much safer. So Saniderm is usually what the tattoo artist puts on you when the tattoo is done. And the tattoo is done and they put Saniderm on the skin, and you have, it looks like this if you see this image here. So it's actually comes in, you know, some layers. You have to peel off some paper, put it on, and carefully, it takes some tries before you actually do it like really nice. And then you peel off the top layer, and then it's sort of like, some call it a second skin in a way, because you can't really feel that it's there, and it is a covering that sort of follows your skin, and it's stuck to your skin like a band-aid. So the whole thing has sort of, not glue, but you know, it's a sticky thing, but it's also a breathing material, so that it doesn't have that dangerous effect that plastic foil and film can have if you have it, you know, more than, you know, a few hours, because it doesn't breathe, but this does. So this, I think, personally, I love this way of having a tattoo aftercare. The first phase is so much safer, and because the first phase is the most dangerous one anyway. It's a phase where you have more risks of getting infections and, you know, bacteria, germs, viruses, anything from your environment, from your clothing, from the air, from your pets, from your children, from your own hands, you know. So this makes it very much safer. And some people say that you can have this like for 5 days in a row without a problem. Saniderm, they recommend that you actually have it on for a maximum of 24 hours, the first one, and then you take it off, clean it, and put on a new one. And that second layer you can have for what was it, 6 or 7 days. Saniderm should not be worn for more than 7 days in total, and that's like 7 days of doing nothing with your tattoo. Is, for me, I think that's a luxury compared to what I used to recommend, with sort of, you know, cleaning and rewrapping for 3 days, and doing that like 3 times a day for 3 days. So this is a little, you know, you can have more lazy days, as I call it. And then I read a little bit about how to remove it. And then we're going to talk a little bit about tattoo infections, tanning, swimming, exercise. How long does a aftercare sort of, how long does it take to heal? Golden rules. Do you have any questions for me now? Let's take a little breather and see if you have any questions. Question: as a hairdresser, can I get hand tattoos? I work 3 times a week for 12 hours. That's a really good question, because I'm actually thinking about doing my own hand very soon. And I have tattooed my hands before, as you can see, and I think the worst time ever, I tattooed my hand on a Friday on the day, and on Friday night I went to a tattoo convention to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then back to work on Monday again. So that was not a good idea because tattoo artists work with gloves. So taking on and off gloves between every client with a fresh tattoo, never again. So next time I'm tattooing my hands, I'm gonna make sure that I have at least like 4 or 5 days off, preferably a week. So I really, and as a hairdresser, you don't need to wear gloves if you're not sort of mixing your hair colors and stuff. As long as you're not wearing gloves, I would say maybe make sure you have at least 2 or 3 days off after getting tattooed on your hands. That's it. Other than that, it's not a problem at all. You just need to sort of take care of it and be careful when you are at work. You know, you have to sort of be a little bit cautious on of what is, being in contact with your hand. And if you use the Saniderm, as I'm talking about, you're not going to have that problem because that will completely keep it safe. So that could be a good idea. Let's see, is it normal to lose some ink during the healing process? Yes, it's very normal because the ink, it's sort of like, almost like let's say you have a glass, okay, my glass here. And when you're tattooing it, you're actually filling ink in there. And the ink, we see it from the top, so we see this ink, but when it heals, it's actually down there. But what happens with all that ink? Some of it will sink and become the tattoo, but some of that on the top there, it's going to go out because the body is going to push that out. So the first healing process, the first healing phase is where you're going to lose some ink, but it's just the top layer ink. So it's nothing to worry about at all. Can darker ink be rubbed into lighter areas when washing and putting on cream? Can it cause the tattoo to be darker? Not when you are home and washing and putting on cream. No, I don't think so. No, because by then the very top layer of the skin will have sort of closed enough. It's still an open wound, but it's sort of the glass is not that open, so you can just pour it out anymore. It sort of has set a little bit. So, but what can happen is when you are tattooing, if the tattoo artist tattoos yellow on your skin, and then it's like, oh my God, I forgot to do some black. So he or she puts black next to it and wipes this on top of the yellow, that will mix. And it will destroy the yellow and make it green. So yeah, that's one thing that all tattoo artists knows, and that's why we most of the time always go from dark to light in a process of tattooing. Awesome questions, guys. Let's see here. Do we have time? Okay. I think we have to move on to infections and inflammations. And as I said earlier, I'm not a doctor. I don't have education in this. So this is sort of what I've learned, what I've read, what I've experienced myself. So you can always get infected. It is an open wound, so the risk is there. If you are going to a pro or an amateur, it doesn't matter. Of course, the risks are higher with an amateur or a home-schooled tattoo artist. A professional one that has had an apprenticeship with a mentor, it's just my opinion. but it's my experience as well and what I've seen and learned. So that is often less risky to go to a professional than to go to an amateur, right? So, but good tips to avoid infections is always wash your hands before touching the tattoo. Don't touch a new, fresh tattoo. Don't let people touch it. Don't go petting your pet with a new, fresh tattoo without any cover on it. So I'm not saying all dogs are dirty, because people do take this very personal when I say this. I'm not saying your dog is dirty. I'm saying that most pets do tend to have bacterias on their tongue, in their mouth, around their mouth, and it's not their fault. It's just the way it is. So keep that out of that new, fresh tattoo, okay? And clean bed sheets the first few nights. So when you come home from a tattoo session, change the sheets on your bed. Just a tip. Wear clean clothes. A good tip. Clean towels when you have been showering. I know that you shouldn't be, touching the tattoo with the towel anyway, but it's nice to have clean towels anyway, so you don't put old germs somewhere else on the body, because then it could sort of contaminate your tattoo in the setting where you're actually moving around and doing stuff and putting your clothes on. Don't expose your fresh tattoo to animals, children's hands, etc. And then we have tanning and swimming. Avoid tanning, please. If you want to get a lot of good tattoos, you should avoid tanning forever. No more tanning at all. Because it's just, the thing is, when a lighter skin, paler skin, is more transparent. So the more colors will be visible in a pale skin. The more you tan, the darker this layer on top of the ink will be. So the less color will be shown. That's just physics. And tanning with a new and fresh tattoo can be really dangerous. I had a colleague of mine years ago that tattooed himself on his arm and then went to, I can't remember, a hot place where there was a lot of sun. And I think this was actually just a week and a half or something after he got tattooed. And he got such a sunburn in his tattoo. It was like, he showed me, it was this like 1 centimeter, half an inch deep crate in the skin. It was just pulled out of that skin. So it looked horrible. So I'm not, as I said, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not super known to like why and what's happening, what all the anatomy, all the medical reasons why this happens. But don't be in the sun, in the direct sunlight, at least the first 2 weeks, but please wait 3 or 4 just to be safe. And swimming, it's the same thing. It's an open wound. It's open for bacteria and viruses and germs and everything. So swimming in water of any kind, bathtub, of the pool, lake, sea, whatever it is, don't lie down in water. It's also because your tattoo is an open wound, so by soaking it in water, just by having water on it for too long, is gonna make it sort of crumble in a way. It's so difficult to explain, like, really, but it's not a good thing. So please don't go swimming or bathing. just keep to a normal, regular, clean shower. Exercising, I don't recommend it. You can exercise, just keep it as clean as possible, and use some moisturizer before you exercise, and then clean it thoroughly after. And if you do some motions that you feel your tattoo doesn't like, try to avoid those, because they can actually sort of, if you stretch your skin where you just tattooed, it can hurt like really bad, and it can sort of make a little crack in the tattoo, and that's not a good thing. So keep it moist, keep it clean, and try not to use your body too much when you're healing a tattoo, because your body needs that energy to heal, to go in there and focus on healing that tattoo. If you're working out and hitting the gym and exercising a lot, then the body has so much more to think about and to focus on, so healing can take longer. So just remember that. How much you do focus on aftercare? The average healing is about 3-4 weeks, but about 3 weeks. It could often take a little bit longer on the legs, ankles, and feet. I think it's just because it's sort of a longer distance from the heart. Like all the healing comes from, I'm not sure. Just my little weird thought. Yeah, keep it lubricated. The skin will become more and more normal or familiar as it heals, and you will need less and less moisturizing. So it's easy to see when it's healed. It's sort of like when you see that there's no difference between the tattooed skin and your normal skin. So you're going to see the last phase is where it's like shining a little bit. That's the final stage. Then you're almost there. And when that shining is gone, it's healed. Hello, all of you new people entering the chat here. It's nice to see you guys here. Okay, so, and some golden rules here in the end. I've said some of these before, but never use a towel, a sponge, or cloth directly on the tattoo while it's healing. Perfume and deodorant should not be added close to or directly on the tattoo during the healing process. Avoid direct sunlight and solarium. No bath, no matter the type. Never itch or scratch at or near the tattoo while healing, because itching and scratching can not only ruin a tattoo because the skin is sort of fragile, but it can also, you can have germs and bacteria on your hands even though you sort of just washed your hands. You never know. So don't touch your tattoo and don't scratch it too much at all. If you have pets or small children, protect your tattoo. Dress according to the needs of the tattoo. Don't let, like seams, like, if you have a tattoo here, don't have a tight bra strap to sort of lay against that, and it can rub and sort of actually just fade your tattoo in a way. Use sunblock on the tattoo when you sunbathe in the future. That's very important. I mean, I wouldn't go sunbathing for at least a month, and I don't recommend sunbathing until like next semester again, So wait a year. The more you wait, the better. The more it has really healed and rested and it's like good to go. And then you should wear sunblock, because as I said, the paler it is, the more saturated it will look, and will look beautiful for years to come. Okay, and that's it. That was my my blog post with Aftercare, where I have written down like what I think about tattoo Aftercare, what I know. What to do when you get little pimples? Well, it's just like I said a little bit earlier, it's like how to avoid pimples is just don't use that much moisturizer. It's better that you use a little bit too little, and then you can add more if you need to, and then moisturize more times, more often. And if you did get a lot of pimples, just let it rest a little bit. Go less on the moisturizer. And I think that's it. You have to sort of just wait it out. Do not try to break them, or, don't touch them. They are also sort of open wounds if you touch them. So just let them be, and less juice on the tattoo, less moisturizers. Very important. Do you recommend any books for tattoo apprentices? No, I don't. What I recommend is becoming a tattoo apprentice with a mentor, and you will not need any books. But that's my personal opinion. As I said, I do have an old school way of becoming a tattoo artist, and that's the one I appreciate. But I do have my inkmentor.com thing, which I'm working on, where I'm going to sort of try to help people that want to become a tattoo artist, want to become a apprentice and all that. So you can just go to inkmentor.com, and there will be more there soon because it's still in construction. So let's talk about some special placements. Is this really live? Yes, Sodic, it's really live. I am here. Can I get a free tattoo? I don't know. Do you think you can get a free tattoo? Okay, let's talk about special placements. Hands. I talked a little bit about hands earlier with the hairdresser here. And it's just, as I said, like, because you need to wash your hands a lot and everything, so you just need to keep them clean. And with the Saniderm, as I've talked a little bit about, those first days, the first phase where it's an open wound, it will be more safe. So I would especially recommend Saniderm on these special placements like hands, because it's very difficult to keep it clean, to keep it moisturized, and to keep it covered without using Saniderm. So because then you have to sort of wear gloves, and you can't do that more than maybe an hour at a time, because you have to clean it, you have to change it so it stays fresh and not bathes in your own sweat and bacteria and the moisturizers that get sort of locked in there. I see Stream Elements is helping me clean messages. I'm sorry if you got messages deleted from no reason. Comment on the video instead, so then I will see it later. Okay, and then feet is also an important thing, because especially during the summer, a lot of people want to get tattoos on their feet during the summer. So, and that's like how to cover your feet when you're got tattooed, So again, the Saniderm will help. Other than that, it's sort of like keep it clean, keep it moist. When you're at home, keep your feet up. Let them rest a little bit. And not too tight on the socks and the shoes and stuff. And if it's the summertime and you just got tattooed on your foot, then you should not wear like these open sandals and let everything, get in contact with your foot. So that's also a thing. You need to sort of protect it from air during that first week. And back pieces. That is also a difficult thing. Easier again with the Saniderm, because then the tattoo artist can cover you, and then you can, if you don't have problems with sort of the ink, you can get these bubbles almost of excess ink. If you don't have a lot of that, you can have that first wrap on for longer, maybe 2 or 3 days. And then you're sort of, it's easier to keep that healing process going. Some clients of mine, actually, one client told me that he had this shower, and on the corner, on the wall, he had a corner in his bathroom. He just cleaned that wall like really good in the shower, and he put on a plastic wrap on the wall. And then he put ointment on that corner. It was a rounded corner, so it wasn't like really sharp. But he put ointment on that corner wall, and then he just rubbed his back against that corner on the wall. Because he was all alone. He didn't have anyone to help him put moisturizer on his back. And I felt sorry for him, but that's not everyone has someone that can help them at home. So that was a creative way to put moisturizer on his back. But it is a nice thing if you have someone that can help you on places like that, like especially on the back. It's not easy to get back there. I can't anyway. So any questions before I talk more about products? How do I get rid of sticky adhesive that's stuck on my new tattoo after not removing the Saniderm with enough water? Actually, I read on Saniderm's website, I can put that in the chat. Sorry, it's going to take a few seconds. I can copy a link address and maybe I can type it in the chat. Yes, here I just put a link, Saniderm article, and they have all of like questions and answers, and I saw that they have that kind of question answered right in there. So go and check that out. I want to get a sleeve, but I have no clue what to get. I was hoping to talk all about Tattoo Aftercare, but if you want a sleeve but you don't know what to get, you're not ready to get a sleeve, because then you don't actually want a tattoo, you just want a sleeve. That's in my mind right now. So, but I would just say go and get inspired. Don't Google sleeve tattoo. Go to Pinterest, check out tattoos, sleeves, just to get inspired, and then you sort of start figuring out the style you want. What do you want? Do you want to celebrate your life, your family, your ambition, your passion, your whatever. You must have passion for something. Feelings on tattoo goo. I used to love them a lot, actually. I did recommend those a few years ago, because then I think they were the best ones. But others have sort of evolved, and they're not bad at all. They're good. It's just, I think I recommend someone better. But they're not bad at all. Is there a way to save a tattoo at first sign of infection? I was just, yeah, it's sort of like just keep it clean. Don't have too much moisturizing on it. So sort of let it be. Don't touch it. And as soon as you start seeing that this infection can evolve, then go see a doctor as soon as you can. Because if you see that this is starting to get infected, the doctor can subscribe? No. You know what I mean? Subscript. The doctor can give you a note that says you need this. And so you can get actually a cream, which is not that strong, but it's sort of a middle way, a cream for starting an infection. So it sort of helps that not evolve into a heavy infection. Okay? Prescribe. Thank you. Okay. Let's talk just a little bit about products. I do have some that I sort of like better, and that has been Tattoo Goo and actually just Tattoo Med. It has always been, not always, but they're kind of new. So that's what we sell in our shop, Tattoo Med. It's not like a big brand in tattooing, but it's very like a medical brand. So they also have Aftercare for laser and stuff. But Tattoo Med, Tattoo Goo, those creams is sort of like a milky ointment. You know what I mean? Almost like a moisturizing cream for your face. I love those. Sorry. Because they're not oily. They're not oil based. So they're more water based. What is good about that is exactly that you don't have to put on a lot, and you can put on more times, because you need to put them on more times because they dry and they go into the skin more faster than an oil-based one. But the oil-based ones are on top of your skin and they're sticky and they're adhesive, or what's it called? So bacteria and dust and small things around you, that can sort of stick to the tattoo easier when it's an oil-based. And that is more like Pegasus and a lot of those tattoo balm, for example. I'm not sure, I haven't tried it, but I think that's in a can, right? So you have a lid on and you put your fingers on there and then you smear it out. I hate those. I don't understand why you should put a lid and then you use your whole hands. So you touch the whole thing almost to have some ointment on. You don't have that much control of it, and you're touching that ointment. I don't like that. I'm more of a fan of a tube or a stick, because then you're just touching the actual tattoo and not your entire hand grabbing that. Someone was mentioning hustle butter. I have never tried hustle butter myself for an aftercare, but I know a lot of tattooers that use hustle butter when they're tattooing, and that's amazing. That's really good, because it's sort of making the skin less red, and so that's really good. I've heard a lot of people use it for tattoo aftercare, but the same thing as I mentioned earlier, it's the lid, it's the bucket. You're grabbing in a bucket and putting it on. I don't like that. I don't recommend that, because then I would sort of actually use a glove just to be sure and to be safe to be as safe as possible. Okay, any last questions? I do have an affiliate link to Saniderm, and you get 10% off if you use my code. They haven't sponsored this. I haven't been in contact with them about this yet. So they're not sponsoring this. I just have an affiliate link, so you get 10% off if you use my code for Saniderm. They have these, you know, the packs of 3 things, so you can put them home. They have the Sani Balm stick. Oh, thank you, Chiara. That's so nice of you. What do you think about taking ibuprofen after getting your tattoo to help with the swelling? No problem at all. No problem. As long as you're not taking anything that makes your blood thinner. But I think ebooks, like ibuprofen, that it doesn't make your blood thinner, so I don't think it has any problem. So yeah, that was it for this time, you guys. So the audio, is it getting bad again? Really? Oh my god. I need to fix this. Sorry about that. For those of you who want, we can... Okay, more and more people are getting the bad sound. So I'm gonna have my... Is that better? Is that better? Just the last 30 seconds. I'm switching the microphone. And I'm going to go... weird, you guys. That is so weird. Sorry about that. Sorry for the audio things. I need to check out what is going on and what's wrong and everything. I have no idea. But I'll see you on Twitch for those of you who want. Okay, good. It's not a stream breaker. It's the Mac, yes. Okay. For those of you who can hear me, I hope you can hear me. Every Sunday after the Tat Chat, if you want, I'll go to Twitch and we can have sort of this backstage chat room. So if you have more questions, I didn't get to answer your question, join me on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/electriclinda. I can put that in the chat actually, so you can join if you want. Okay. Oh, it didn't make a URL link, but thank you so much for watching. I hope that this aftercare thing was okay. I hope you learned some nice things. So yeah, thank you for watching, and let's make a poll on what to have on the Tat Chat for next episode. Okay, I'll link a poll in my YouTube channel community thing. Okay, so we'll make a poll on what to do next. So see you in a week, and for those of you who want, see you on Twitch for some, yeah, backstage whatever thing. Okay, thank you so much for being here. See you later. Okay, bye.
This is the Tat Chat with Electric Linda.